Hello everyone, it is Susan here. Welcome to my channel. So today is my Monday crafty chit chat and slow stitching video, and we are going to continue on my snippet roll, my Just Because snippet roll. I am trying to do not abstract, that's not the right word. I'm just trying to do, I don't know, something I guess a little different for me on this snippet roll. I'm using a piece of canvas, or burlap, sorry, a piece of burlap. It's really long. I don't know how long I'm going to actually make this. But yeah, so last Monday, I did some stamping and stenciling on some fabric. So this was stenciled on, and this was that, you know what, that was also stenciled. I thought I did some stamping. I guess I didn't. But anyway, so in last week's video, I really was not sure on how I was going to move forward with this, but now I have a plan. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I now have this strip of burlap vertical as opposed to horizontal. And the reason why is because, excuse me, because I want to hang it on my wall vertically. Yep, so that's going to be my plan. Yep. So I took some of the clusters that I made and I put them on here, and I'm going to show you everything. And we're going to do a little bit of stitching, and I'll let you know what my thought is as far as adding probably some of this black yarn to this page. You know what? I have this out here. I know I did. You know what? No, maybe I didn't. I don't know. But this is what I used when I did the stenciling on those two pieces of fabric. And I can highly recommend it because I love it. I love both of them very much. Okay, before we get into sewing, let me kind of I'll show you something. I'm going to do a little show and tell. Right, here comes the crafty chit chat. You know, actually, I have like a lot going on in my mind like I usually do. I'm just going to move this out of the way for a second so I can show you a couple other things. But you're going to see some really wild colors as soon as I move this. And I'm going to share with you what I am using to create on. In fact, what I'll probably do is, at some point I'll probably take a picture and share it with you. Maybe not in today's video, but I'll see. So I'm using an ironing board because there are times where I want to stand up to craft. Normally I don't. Normally I sit at my desk and I craft. But there are times where I want to stand. So today I am standing, and you know, a couple weeks ago I was looking around my room to see, well, you know, I didn't want to stand and work on my desk because I'd be bending over, right? It was too low. And I was just like looking around and I'm like, well, the shape that I really need and something that I can put away when not in use, I'm like, the light bulb went off. I'm like, an ironing board. I can use an ironing board. So right now I have it set up in my craft room, and it's kind of to the side a little bit. And where I have it, so like I have my tripod, right, that my iPad is on recording this. And it is in a spot where all I have to do is move the arm of the tripod over, and it is over the ironing board. So I don't need to move my tripod. So it is just working out perfectly. So that's what I'm working on, and that's what all this wild color is all about. It's just the fabric on the ironing board. But yeah, if you're looking for, an inexpensive way that you can have something to stand up and craft on, I can recommend an ironing board, and I put it away when I'm done with it, or leave it up if you have the room, right? So anyway, so that was that little share, but let me show you. So this right here is my very, very, very first slow stitch piece. First one ever. And this is what got me hooked, was this right here. Yep. Just totally hooked. I added a little bit of the lace up here and some of those rosettes that I have. I took some fabric squares and I sewed them down, right? And then I put more flowers on the top. I just have a little piece of, I don't know, some kind of fabric under here with some sort of a lace here. I have a couple little beads. I have this little piece right here. Yeah, totally hooked. This is what got me hooked. And I did this, and I try to mark pretty much everything that I create, whether it's a painting or fabric or a tag. I try to remember to always put a date and my initials. So I started slow stitching in September. Yep. I didn't realize it was that long ago, but it is. So then what made me think to take that piece of long canvas and turn it vertically as opposed to horizontal, I have this hanging on my wall. So this is just something that I had made. Let's see, do I have the date? See, I don't have the date on that. That's not good. I did this obviously after that first piece that I made. And yeah, it's about, I don't know how long it is. Let me see if I can do a quick little measure here. So it is about 15 inches long. And this hangs on my wall here in my craft room. And I hang it on this little dowel that I just sewed on, and it hangs, and I love it, and it makes me happy. It makes me happy. So both of those I have hanging here in my craft room. So I'm like, well, I think I'm going to do something similar with this snippet roll. So that's where my inspiration came from to turn it and do it vertically. All right, so at this point, I really like where I have everything on here. I like it. Like, one of my goals is to leave some space that has no fabric. Or any type of embellishment. So, but what I want to do is, like, I have this little piece of black rickrack, and I thought, well, I like to add black to pretty much everything I do. And I thought maybe putting like that there would be good. But I also thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to do a little bit of stitching with the black? So like, I have like more little fabric clusters here that, I'll be adding to this. I even pulled out the pretty little flower. And I'll try to get that on there. I did even pull out some bling. This was a necklace, I think it was, but I use it in my paper crafting. It's like, because you can easily cut it. But what I was thinking was to pull in some black, I thought it would be fun to, well, and it, I guess it depends. Oh, I probably should have done it over one, but I'm trying to, let me just turn this. It's awkward to work with because I have like this big roll um, of canvas here, but I was thinking it would be fun to just pull in some black. I'm going to do it with you to give it a little bit more interest. And let's see. I don't want to get too close to the edge because this does fray. But do something like this just to, like I said, just to pull in a little bit more interest. Yep. I like that. So I'm just gonna, let me do this. This yarn, I believe, is Appleton yarn that I got, I'm sure, from Etsy somewhere. Don't remember where. And I don't use it a lot because it's fairly thick, fairly heavy. But in this case, for what I'm doing right here, I think that this would be good to use because it's going to be very prominent, right? It's going to stick out and be bold and easy to see. So, as simple as that. So now, let me turn this all again. So now, I should figure out how long I'm going to make this and just cut it because it is very difficult to work with this huge roll. But I don't know. I don't know how long I want to make it, so that's why I haven't cut it yet. But I think I'm going to have to because it's hard to maneuver this roll. So now that's what that looks like. So now imagine that hanging on the wall, right? With the yellow, it looks very bumblebee-ish, doesn't it? But just imagine those pops of black on that beautiful mustard yellow background. And so like with this flower that I did here, this little cluster, I put some black in that. So as I'm working on this, it's kind of coming together. So for me, I'm thinking that having the pops of black is going to be big. So maybe, well, not maybe, let's kind of do this together. So, but I want the black to be in different directions. So like something like this, I could just sew around this little piece of fabric that I stenciled with that archival ink in black. And yep. And I think that will bring in this black to this area of this snippet roll. So I like this because, well, just because, I can experiment and do kind of what I feel like doing because, well, this is my just because snippet roll. Yep. Oops. So I'll just keep going like this. And I think that that is going to look super pretty. So I think the next thing that we'll sew on, oh, I can't pull that through. I have to turn this again. The next thing that I'll sew on is this flower, and then maybe do a little bit more black stitching on the side there. It's kind of like I would like to get maybe the very bottom of this, not done, but almost done. And then that's going to help me figure out the rest of the piece. Maybe I'll even be able to figure out how long I want this thing to be. Make these a little smaller. Okay. So then that is getting that on there. Ugh. It's hard to pull through. It is, it is. And if you're not familiar with the concept of Just Because, make sure you check out Susan Taylor Brown. And I will have her YouTube channel link below. And she came up with the concept of a Just Because book, which most of you know. And I wanted to do a snippet roll. So I'm like, well, let me do a Just Because snippet roll. And yeah. So, and I know that Susan herself, I think was considering at one point, maybe way back, in doing a Just Because snippet roll. I think what I'll do, you know what, I'm going to put, I don't have much yarn left on here. I think I'll put a couple of cross stitches over here, because this is what I'll call white space, right, where there is, there's nothing, there's just the background. And I think that those two little cross stitches right there look fun, right? Okay, I'm liking this. This is good stuff. This is definitely good stuff. Okay. All right, so that's the end of that. I have to pull out some more black. Not right now, but I will. So then the next step will be to get this on here. All right. So, you know, this is a little different for me. It definitely is different. I'd like that to be like poofy. And that's going to go there. Like that. So we'll go ahead and sew that on. I'll probably just use, what color? Gosh, I don't have much of anything on in my needles, so we'll go ahead and what color should I use? I could use pink, I could use yellow, I could use off-white. I could use any color there. What I think I'll do, I'm going to go with a yellow, and this is my 100 floss bobbins that I got for $15 at Walmart. and it has beautiful colors in it. And I don't know that I need anything super bright or anything, so I think I'll just pull out this very soft color yellow. And let's go ahead and thread that. Okay. All right. That's good. So, and between, like, I've purchased some really good pearl thread and, paid not a lot, but, more than I would pay at Walmart. And to be honest, is there a difference between, like more expensive pearl thread and this more inexpensive pearl thread? Yes, there is a difference, but does it matter? So like the difference to me is like this is more of that the Walmart one is more of like a matte color. It's not like more not shiny, but like the more expensive pearl thread that I personally have has a little bit of a shimmer to it. It looks different, it does, and you guys would probably on camera never be able to tell. But for what I do, I am like super happy with that little container, that little organizer filled with cheap floss. I use it all the time, all the time. And one of the things that I really like about it is all the colors. So there's a lot of color, different colors in it. And yep. So that definitely helps me. So I don't have to spend a whole lot of money. All right. I like it. So let's go ahead and knot this off. And now that's on there. So maybe, I think what we'll do next is go ahead and take a look at this as a whole and figure out if I should cut it now or wait. So, but as I'm looking at this, like basically kind of from here down, I mean, I know I have to get this pink on here, this pink lace that's over here to the side. And I probably should have sewn that on when I was sewing this little flower on, because it does kind of go underneath it, but that's okay. So like what I'm noticing though is I have to put some black here. So even if I took some of that black yarn and just kind of maybe did 2 or 3 little, rows of the black stitching right there, something like that, then that would finish up from here down. So if I keep that thought process going up this, right? So then what I would do is so like I would have some of the black yarn over here, maybe I would have some up here, and then I would make sure that maybe I would do cross stitches around this flower with the black yarn. That would look pretty. I would make sure I have something black here, even if it is a little piece of the yeah, rick-rack. Yeah, so up to this point, I like what's on there, and I have a sheer piece of fabric here. So that is, let me measure how long this is so far. So far it's 11 inches. I don't know that I need to go too much longer. I mean, I could. It would look pretty if it was really long hanging on my wall. I think what I'll do, because I really need to get rid of all of this. This is a lot. This is a lot to have to maneuver around. So maybe I'll cut it maybe a little bit bigger than what I think I might want, because then I can always cut it down a little bit. But you know what? I'm kind of feeling like I want it fairly long. Fairly long, because I think that that will be pretty. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just give it a cut right here. Yeah, and then all of this I can get rid of. I can just put that away because I don't need it. And so now this is, I'm going to say, probably close to 3 feet long. So let me measure. 1, 2. It's about 3 feet and 2 inches long. And so when I hang it, it's going to be awesomeness. Awesome. And so what I'll do is I'll continue to put different pieces on here. So like this thing, I love it. I love it. It's not finished. It is a little cluster, but I do like it and I want to get it on here. So maybe, I'll end up putting that. I may have to make it smaller though. So like I have that piece I want to put on, but I need to finish it. I have some ruffle. I have a beautiful rosette flower. I do have some stamped images. I have a key and a feather. And I know I want to get this on there. This will have to be, torn down just a little bit. I have some buttons and beads in here. This is sewn together. This is definitely going on there. In fact, I kind of like it right there. I'm going to pin that in there. I like that. Yeah, so I'm going to keep working on this. I had made this little piece long ago, a few months ago. That's going to end up on here. I do have the pretty little flower. That will probably end up on here. This is another little cluster I have to finish. So we have some cluster work to do yet. Yeah, and I do have this, although now that I'm really working on this, I don't know if that will fit or not. I do have this really big green vintage button, but I don't know. I've been trying to use that for forever, and I just can't seem to use it. But anyway, so that is it for today. Let me know your thoughts on this whole thing with the black yarn. And I mean, I think it's super pretty, and it's going to look pretty on my wall. The walls of my craft room are nice powder blue, and I think that this will really show up really nicely on my wall. So that is it for today's Crafty Chit Chat and Slow Stitching. And I will see you next Monday. And let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for being here. Have a blessed week. Oops. Bye-bye.